Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RLAfterShock, the longest-running independent podcast for everything that is Rocket League Esports in the European scene. With our 55th episode, we have a very special one for you today. I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined not only by Digital Bacon, but a nice little casting couch. Yes, in that sense, of guests that are going to be chatting shit, getting drunk about Rocket League here, live from our Airbnb in Madrid. We are less than 24 hours away from the playoffs, Bacon. It's going to be a hype time.
It is definitely going to be hype. Not only have we had a good week of news, but of course we got so many predictions to go over for this weekend. We've got everyone's opinions on this. So we're all going to be discussing each match, how we think that's going to go, and of course going onwards from that, who we think is going to be crowned champion this weekend.
You know, we didn't extend a public invitation to everyone who wanted to get on the couch, and we have got a nice little lineup here of various...
A right smorgasbord, I think.
Yeah, like varying levels of sort of, you know, expertise, I guess you could say.
Starting from none to very little, yes.
Exactly, yes. But yes, we've got Trox, who most famously, Meme Master is the guy who's, I think, founder of Leaf League. I think is the thing he's most famous for.
He's also a big cunt on Twitter, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I mean, I guess we can attest to that firsthand. But he's also our social media manager, so that makes him awesome. Dexter, who is our, not Twitch mod, Discord mod. I guess you're a Twitch mod as well, actually.
Head mod, yeah.
He's the head mod. He's the guy that is going to be running the prediction at Pick'em game on the Discord itself. So you certainly want to get involved in that. As well as that, we have our other social media manager, Failius.
Is he still for social?
It depends if he actually posts something on the fucking Twitter, right? And of course, Jar of Jam, who's made several appearances over the course of the Aftershock history. So, gentlemen, welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you're ready to chat.
Oh yeah, you didn't shout at Tractor. You're a bad host.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm sorry, Tractor. He's off to the side. He's doing all the visual elements. He's kind of making this whole thing possible, essentially. He's written hi with a smiley face to make up the point that he is actually here. But yes, he's going to be the guy that's directing all the visual elements if you're watching on the video version of the podcast. If you listen to the audio version of the podcast, you'll notice that things sound a little bit different. That's because the Airbnb is shit. Right. Plenty to get through today, gentlemen. Obviously, we're all going to be playing the prediction game for the RLCS World Championship of Season 8. Plus, we also have some mailbag questions that came in from our Discord community for a lot of you, essentially.
No.
And as well as that, he doesn't want anything to do with this whatsoever. As well as that, we're also talking about the news, in particular, the complexity story, which I know that some of you have some fun things to say about that, so this is going to be quite great. And I think that's where we'll start, gents, because as we may have seen on the Twitterverse over the last over the last week or so, complexity are done. And not just like the organization, the team are done as a whole here, which is sort of like a big old rip. To a certain extent, I think a lot of us saw it coming. Like we obviously got leaks in from the last week or so when they cancelled all their scrims. So it was basically set in stone that they were basically done at that stage. You know?
Yeah, and this has been rolling for a little while. Like at the start of the season, we looked at it and went, if complexity can stay up, that is great. But this was not looking good. What the whole Flakes and Greasy drama. It feels like this was always going to be the case. And there was actually an interesting thing. I don't think we've got it in the show plans today, but the Complexity CEO did put, as a response to someone saying, are they picking up anyone else? He said, we'll be evaluating options for 2020, but that's just your generic... We might come back into Rocket League, we might not. It depends if a team that's
let's
actually
put it this way.
worthy
They're doing
to
a
get picked up.
Fnatic, essentially.
Yes.
Like,
and a PSG. So.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like we've had we already had a couple of organizations do this, but you know, the discombobulators are kind of, you know, unsigned at the moment, guys. What do we think about the prospect of them potentially picking up the discombobulators?
I think it would work.
I'm going to say no. I think Complexity will go NA. I don't see, like, you try and go to a different audience, especially what with their connection, is it to the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
Try and go down that avenue, because you got to think the fan base in EU has probably already been picked up there. Why not go over to NA, trying to merge on a new fan base as well as keeping that old one sort of linked on? I think that's the best choice for them anyway.
I can see that. And there's teams like RBG. They're a smaller kind of team, but a smaller org, so they're there for the picking. It's just whether they're the same caliber that Complexity want, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'm personally more of an EU fanboy. I like the idea of seeing discombobulators get picked up. Obviously, Complexity have shared their interest in EU in the past as well. I think that Jason Lake, who's, of course, for those who don't know, the CEO of Complexity, I think he knows a lot of that. The European scene is quite strong. That's kind of the reason why he started building a European CSGO roster lately, which sort of indicates the idea that maybe they might stick within the European region. Like they went for the regional Complexity lineup because they were one of the strongest in the world. I think in terms of the discombobulators potentially, I feel like they could potentially represent the Complexity brand quite well because I think they've got a high skill ceiling and a lot of potential to go further forward in the next season. You don't look like you're a
I look at Complexity and I think they're going to want immediate results. This is not going to be a team which they're going to be there like, okay, 3 seasons down the line, a year and a half, we could be the top of Europe. No, I think this is going to be a case of they want to go to NA, pick up one of the top teams or maybe one of the emerging teams there. Again, who do you pick? Afterthought for me would be quite tasty at the moment. What with experienced pros already in that, and they look to be ready to move on to the top level. Like I said, RBG could be a tasty little thought. What with that open spot now, who could jump ship for them? We covered that last week. It's fine. A little bit. So yeah, at the moment for me, that's the bare prospect because you look at discombobulators. I don't think we're going to get another, say, Veloce example. I don't think we're going to get another team to the RLCS that's going to go straight to Worlds again.
Shout out to Veloce, by the way, who did not get back to me when they specifically...
Not salty on that one.
Sorry, I should clarify. When I put out my public call, I said I'm willing to bring on any community figures and pro players. And the Veloce manager came in and said, hey. And I said, hey, we're doing this at 7. If you want to come down and bring the players, that'd be great. Nothing. We got that sweet FA. Yeah, stuck with you guys. It's all right. You guys are cool. So you guys actually turned up.
The relief on your face, Trox, is just immense.
I mean, honestly, I'm not on good standing with some of the people in Veloce, so I'm not...
See, that's why I wanted to see it, because it would have been such a great fucking show.
I'm not the one that blocked me on Twitter, okay?
If he could, though.
I'm not that kind of guy. Okay, I blocked like 2 people because they're annoying, but I'm perfectly fine with having not a good standing with people as long as they take it well. Like, as long as they stay mature, which is not the case in case of some of the Veloce players. You know who I mean.
They know who they are, apparently.
I respect you. Honestly, I respect you, but start acting mature. That's all I have to say.
Well, back on Complexity of their own right. Speaking of acting mature, this does come off the back of Flakes' little outburst on Twitter, which got him a lot of heat, obviously, with the whole Merc thing. And I think we've all sort of talked a lot about how Flakes has sort of been a bit of a dick in the last few weeks. How much of that sort of caused this team to basically just say fuck it and start again? Because, of course, for those of you who don't know, they have all confirmed themselves that they are done, essentially. Flakes, you can actually see the tweet up on screen saying, I want to thank New York for all the times they're together. They're going to be LFT. I think Flakes actually put an LFT tweet out separately to this, but the same thing for Greasy and Magnus. How much stock do these players just have left in general at the moment after what was essentially just this shit show of a season, you know?
For me, I look at this and I think there is a follow-up tweet as well here from Greasy, if Tractor can bring that up on screen for everyone, where he says he is looking for a new team as well, because we were speculating last week that it'd become a coaching scenario for him. And for him to continuously look, I don't think any RLCS team would pick up any of these lads apart from Magnus. I think he's the only one with RLCS prospects at the moment. Everyone else, Flakes is talented enough to be in the RLCS. That is no one's in disagreement, I think, about that. The problem is his personality. Is a team going to take that risk on him, knowing that they could bring him in and suddenly drop literally in the next season? Because
I absolutely love how you make a point and you just see Trox just go, nope.
I think, skill-wise, yes, I agree. He's an RLCS player, and as you said, mentality-wise and team-wise, he's not. He's just not someone to fit into any team right now. And it's not the first time he actually left Complexity. So that's the second year, and he basically said, I'm done with the team. And he then realized that nobody else was picking up, basically. So I'm not saying he crawled back, but he crawled back to the team and got back on, so they had a stable roster, basically. That's all I have to say. So, if he,
I mean,
if he
part of that was why Snasky is brought on as well,
Yeah.
to sort of try and control this team. And I don't know the scenario there, don't know anything from Snasky, so can't make any calls on that. But clearly, it didn't help, from the problems continuing throughout the season. So again, that's part of it. Does Snasky go on to coach another team? That's a big question there. Or do we see him try and re-qualify as an RLRS player?
I think he'll certainly be looking towards the coaching aspect of it. I think once you go coach, you just can't turn back around.
It's hard to turn back, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, what do you think? Where do you think the elements of this lineup can really go now that they've sort of disappeared into the ether?
I thought you had on your Failius. Yeah, I suppose. Well, when Flakes came into Complexity when they're still in the Rival Series, I love that pickup. It was the best pickup of the season. I think Flakes got them out of the Rival Series. What happened then? Well, it's a shame to see that because I really wanted them to succeed, and that was a roster, although by that point they were already sort of separated. That was a roster I really wanted to see just grow and grow. But as for individual players, Greasy, I do believe Greasy has said that he's still eager to make it, so he's still going to be looking for more chances. Magnus has definite quality in him. He is the last standing member of that roster of Alat, Magnus, Metsonaris.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know anymore where that staying roster still is. Is it with Alat? Is it one way or the other? That Flakes pickup, I think, and then just solidify the team. But now... It's so hard to tell. Flakes, I think it's. I'm hoping it will give him some sort of time to grow a little bit, specifically in the mentality aspect, and then I feel like he's still gonna find someone. Maybe a team will be built around him rather than he will be slotted into some other roster. As for Snasky's Danish.
Yep.
I do know that Copenhagen Flames earlier in the year have picked up a team yet again, but I do believe Fuzz is coaching that one.
Yeah, with what was it, Mummy Snow and Maestro as well?
Yeah.
Waffle as well. So that'd be an interesting one. Maybe bring them into that if Copenhagen Flames are really dedicated. But I haven't seen that team playing anything since. Even the stuff.
That was the thing that we talked about when we first picked them up. It was just sort of like, what the fuck is this team actually going to do? Just because the calendar is so awkward for them, what can they do at this stage? And apparently, Sweet FA is the answer to that question.
Well, because you look at that team, you think a big announcement like that, they'd be on a retention fee, to actually keep a hold of them. Maybe not a massive amount of money or whatever, but to actually try and lock them down to a roster, that would be the idea. And for them not to play anything, I don't know what's going on over in that camp.
Some serious missed opportunities, I want to say, in that respect. And certainly missed opportunity for the boys over from that Complexity side. So I think we'll leave that there for the moment. It is what it is. RIP Complexity. Please pick up the discombobulators, though. I really want to see those guys get employed. And we'll move on to talk about our next point. Should we do this next point, Bacon? We were sort of debating whether or not we'd do this one.
Yes and no. I'm going to say...
This was specifically requested. We're going to say yes? All right, let's do it.
Because we've had first-hand experience, so we can say.
This was specifically requested by our friend Danny Boy, who tweeted the RLAfterShock Twitter account with this little tweet that you're seeing right now, saying, "Special service, one of the best European tournaments. I hope that all teams who did play tonight wasn't too affected by it." So he's got really bad English spelling. I can barely read his fucking tweets. It's a shame that some great matches
also,
didn't
there's
have...
a light in the way.
Yeah, there's also a big stand in the way of our little PGM monitor, so I can't actually see what the fuck's going on. Some great matches didn't have full flow of series tonight. RLAfterShock, obviously, asking us to talk about this. Did anyone watch the Rising Stars stuff in the past week? You did, so I guess you're probably the best sort of man to talk about this. Obviously, we've had our issues and run-ins with Psyonix over the course of time. Caught the ire a couple of different times over this one.
Mm-hmm.
You, however, probably can give us a bit more of the details about what actually happened.
Okay, so the patch dropped on Wednesday.
Yep.
And I tweeted out on Thursday actually about the same because servers were just acting like other crap. And it didn't change. It changed a bit during the Friday, but when Rising Stars was running, they had to remake one series 20 times before they found a stable single... No, it wasn't even a stable server. They just decided, okay, that's it. We're not going to play on a better server. Because all the server had server health issues.
Oh my god.
The whole series lasted 1.5 hours. And I know Danny was just fuming in the background because he was running the whole thing, and I was pissed as a viewer because it's like there was no public word from Psyonix about this. Like people were complaining on Reddit, on Twitter, and we had the same situation last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like servers were over time really shit and no public word. Like the last public word about servers was from the Psyonix CEO actually, because a lot of people complained about 2 years ago. But since then, like it's again like the intransparency of Psyonix that's pissing me off actually.
Was it just European servers or was it around the world?
I actually don't know if it's NA servers as well, but EU servers were affected a lot.
Yeah, and I mean during the Rising Stars, during the finals, of course, we were commentating over that, Jay, and we could see after every single game there had to be a remake.
Yeah,
and this, of course, would have been seen in all the different languages because, of course, it was being rebroadcast over Twitch for everyone else to be able to watch and commentate over. And I did notice, I think it was Spleen doing the clean feed, where he didn't actually turn off those health indicators. Yeah. And so that was going out on the broadcast. Now, I don't know if that's just making it obvious, but whenever like a tournament organizer puts that on, Sonics is a go at them. We know this because it's made it obvious. Yeah. So, yeah, that might be a little hint. But it's an easy solution.
Even on broadcast, it's become a bit of a fucking meme. Like the go-to phrase whenever we see a remake is just like Psyonix servers. You know, it's like at this point it's actually coming to really have some like big time effect at this stage. I mean, 20 times to remake one lobby. Like I know I didn't get the chance to watch the VODs unfortunately, so I don't have too much experience in this. But just based off that statement alone. That's fucking ridiculous. That's completely absurd.
The thing is, it changed in a patch. So what are they playing about with which fucks up servers? That's the big question.
I mean, there have always been increased server loads after a patch because players are coming back to the game. But this kind of loads, of this kind of change, I don't know.
So there's got to be something going on in the background, maybe for future updates or whatever, you know, to get the code in early like you do. But for the time being, there's no discernible change that would cause this, you know, that you can see in-game anyway.
I'm just trying to think, what could it be? Like, why? Because I know, obviously, it was the Blueprint update that caused this issue.
Yes.
Actually,
Which, he's going to go off on a tangent.
Like...
Failius just like,
if your crates get changed to blueprints that you can open and you get a random item out of it, like the random item isn't determined at the point of you opening it beforehand. I mean, it gets determined probably while you open it. So imagine like a million players just opening blueprints over and over again, and imagine that load on the servers. Yeah. So they have to load balance that, and probably also on the game servers to get like resources.
I would hope the inventory servers are different to game servers.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you know, because wouldn't it theoretically be a?
I
think
I want to hear from Failius.
Failius is looking like
it's
he's got
not as juicy as people are hoping, but. For those that are in the Alpha Console Discord, they had to revert one of their patches from the Blueprint update because they had a...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Little bit too intimate with that mic.
Okay. I just love the mic. They had to revert the reveal all Blueprint button. The Psyonix actually had to reach out to them, tell them to remove that feature. Devin was in the Discord server to do sort of damage control.
Oh, wow.
Tedas tweet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's aggressive.
I mean...
I just think it suggests there's more than meets the eye with just... Because that was the fastest I've ever seen Psyonix respond to anything.
In fairness, though, it does directly affect their revenue.
Yeah,
but we can
sure.
quickly just take a look at Tedder's tweet just to experience exactly. It wasn't just Danny that wanted to see this thing get talked about. Tedder's here on the Twitterverse. Fix your servers, Psyonix and Rocket League. You're ruining one of the only tournaments left in the scene, LMAO. So Rocket Baguette have put so much into this tournament, all their own work and money, just to have it displayed in a horrible fashion because of your servers. Seems a bit suspicious to me, Cowboy Hat.
So...
And do you know, here's the thing. I understand exactly why he feels that way, because guess what? I feel the same fucking way. I think most of us here feel the same fucking way.
So the clear fix to this, because of course the regular, like just going into rank for me has felt fine. It just seems to be a health like continuing over time issue by using that same code instead of like that same server and it not refreshing or resetting itself. That to me feels like that's what the issue is. So you just pick off a select set of servers like they do for RLCS, and you give certain people that use a redeem code like they do for the the LAN build, to allow you to make a very special private server that is under a select group, like you would for RLCS. And then you just hand that out to Rocket Baguette, Rival, let's just say the United Road guys, of course, over in NA, and just say, right, you guys have access to that, and you just give them that one specific permission so they can make those servers, and it means your high-level broadcasts from the community are safe and they're not going to show the bad side of the game.
The other alternative is just to release the dedicated server client, which also could be a decent shout. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, that's a free to access tool for most other games. Like, I know in Counter-Strike you can go on Steam, just download the SDK, and you can just set up a CS:GO server immediately. Just like as soon as you want. You have to do all the intricacies of setting up port forwarding and everything, and trying to change the rule set. But that's right there and then and ready to go. And then you've got a bunch of plugins that have been community developed to help you sort of manage things. And like, if we were able to do that with Rocket League, like, this would negate so many other problems. And the best part about it is that it doesn't even need any input from Psyonix after the fact.
Exactly. Yeah.
They would just need to just put out that
any
client
blame
and
for those servers does not go to Psyonix.
Exactly.
It'll go to, let's say, Rival have their own server, and that goes down over the weekend. That's Rival's fault. They have to deal with that. Yeah, that's just Failius' fault.
It's always Failius' fault.
It's that case,
If I can have a word in, like, just regarding the community plugins, basically, I know that, like, Dan from the Subpar server, like, he made a custom plugin for, like, Bacchus mod, I think.
Is that the UI one?
Yeah, that just displayed the minimap, the boost amount and stuff, and you can just see what dedicated people from the community can actually do. And I was also always interested in writing plugins and stuff that just made it easier for streaming and stuff. But it's just sad to see a bit that Psyonix is trying to keep control so much.
Like, I think here's the thing. It's like, there's so many great resources in the community, because I don't even think we have an API to do the sort of like stuff that Dan was doing.
Not a public one.
Not a public one, obviously. I mean, and I don't think Dan has access to the private one, unless he's wrong. In which case, feel free to come out and correct me, mate, because I have no fucking idea. Again, I feel there's a lot of potential being wasted in the Rocket League scene, and I think it's like this whole situation is sort of like, just conveyed that point.
Well, I can even say the API to get player information like MMR, I can remember back at Rewind during the trials, we had massive trouble because that got pulled. And that basically meant like the seeding for the trials is purely just if we knew the players. Because we couldn't literally go for, you're, let's say, 1,800 MMR, you should be this, there, and there to make it the most even. But where that got pulled at that time, you're in the dark for a lot of these teams. A lot of players that are trying to get into the esports scene. You got to think RS Planes or the Rocket Baguette stuff beforehand. Yeah, it makes seeding so that sort of jazz hard, because you've got your new 15-year-old players coming through trying to become pro, and they're getting blocked by what is such a simple problem. It could get fixed easily.
Yeah.
And I feel the dedicated servers would be great, because you can just leave it on a stable patch. A patch can come through, but if the server's on a certain patch, you can just revert it.
Which we see in every other esports.
Exactly. Thinking of CS. When a huge update comes through, they leave their servers on the old updates so that it's just stable and you don't have to worry about bullshit the day after something drops. It's really just, I don't want to say common sense, but it is.
I mean, and at the same time,
I don't want to say it's common sense, but it absolutely is 100%.
There's no reason not to, because you don't get XP, you don't get blueprints from those private matches.
Exactly.
There's nothing being lost for players.
It just feels like it's one of those fundamental things that I think Psyonix just tends to fuck up when it comes to the esports operations, is that to utilize the community is the greatest resource you have. Because we're out here in Madrid off our own fucking dime. These guys don't live in Madrid, by the way. We've got UK, Latvia, Switzerland, UK as well, and Boris from Germany. Boris back there, by the way. Say hi. he's not taking part in the show, but he's there. But we will come here off our own fucking dime. I brought my own like fucking audio gear and production equipment off my own fucking dime to produce this show, and it's like, it's. Sorry?
Thanks, by the way.
You know, and it's like, it feels to me like this. Obviously, that's just a small example of one small little corner of the whole scene. It's like, you know, you talk about stuff like Dan and his sort of stuff, and you talk the idea of, you know, Rocket
Well, they're the
Baguette
guys
all
doing
their
it
shit.
behind
Yeah,
the scenes.
exactly. You know, that
We're just more content creating.
Yeah,
That's it.
and it's like all these little resources being poured in by dedicated fans that aren't being taken advantage of by Psyonix. And it's like it's legit. Like, it's some of the easiest shit that you could do in the world. You know. Like, and I feel like I think if anyone disagrees, feel free to stop me at any point. But I just feel like that it's the biggest missed opportunity in Rocket League right now.
Yeah.
You're not nodding your head.
I mean, I'm not nodding my head just for a reason. Maybe I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate here. We do not know what the back end for this whole thing is. How easy it is to do all of these things.
He's not having any of it.
Trox.
Just let Jam be curious about the
Trox.
back end, okay?
It's just I'm a software engineer basically. I know how backends work, and just judging from what they provide and how they provide it, yeah, I think it's maybe not their strength to provide back-end web access, but yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
Again, it's not just about the API. It's about that pipe dream of maybe having versions that can be rolled back and everything. Maybe it's just not built into their code base initially. And I mean, they are not completely new developers. But basically, if I'm not mistaken, Psyonix, before they did Rocket League and Super Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars, they were
They've worked on
You could have just called it. You could have just called it SART BC. You know?
sorry.
Yeah, they've been largely, apart from those two games, they were just contracted in
Exactly.
for the multiplayer of Unreal Tournament, if I remember. And
Banging.
there was the what?
No, just saying banging game.
Yeah.
Good point.
Oh, and there was another one based on a TV series, which were all about vampires and vampire hunters. Can't remember the name for it, but that was the multiplayer version of that. And there was also, I want to say, 2 mobile games, which they're done. But it was a relatively small team before this. And it's that worry of they were a small team that got, you know, expanded, taken everything on board, and did not seek like the assistance and advice from other people. So it's like all the hallmarks for it to get to this situation now.
Yeah, well, we just have great examples of how it's done right, and it would be great to see the same thing in Rocket League. And by no means I support everything that Psyonix are doing. Obviously, the whole fiasco with the servers, I got hit by it just a little bit as well. But it might be just it's not as easy as it seems. Just shout at them just a little bit. Still sucks though.
It does suck indeed, and of course, hopefully the servers will be a bit more fixed for next time. But that's I think
One
about
thing that got fixed, we can say, just as a passing note, it's the item shop this week. Like, good stuff's on it. Well done.
Yes,
There
fix
we
something
go.
that they broke themselves intentionally.
Yeah. Let's
Come
leave
on.
that. Yeah,
Come
come
on.
It wasn't
Come
very
on.
tense.
No,
We
I'll
take
say
the
it. I'll
small
straight up
things,
say it.
okay?
I'll straight up say it. The item shops have been shit for a long time. So there you go. Let's move on and talk about our mailbag questions, because of course I did go on the Discord and say, hey, we have guests. If you want to ask them questions, then we can, of course, feed some feedback into the Rocket League scene via those guys. So we'll start, of course, with our first mailbag question coming in from John, a.k.a. Always, from the Reddit threads, of course, the Reddit admin himself. For the upcoming World Championship, which region needs a good performance, OC or SAM? Or, if there's a team in particular that needs to do well at this event more than others, if your OC and SAM knowledge is lacking? I will start with Bacon on this question.
Realistically, both regions need good performance. OCE, because support feels like it's been dwindling a little bit, and SAM, because they need support, you know? It's a hard one for both. And looking at this right now, OCE, we're having a little talk about it just within the Airbnb ourselves, and we think this is probably the weakest that OCE is going to come into a Worlds. And SAM at the moment are looking good, but they don't have much competitive experience with the other regions, so it's hard to weight them in this RLCS.
If you had to pick one region or the other, though, like I know you said realistically both, but like in an ideal world, if you had to pick one or the other, who would you say needs it more?
I would probably say SAM, because I think there's a lot of potential in South America to expand within esports, and then of course within Rocket League.
Trox?
All right, I have to say definitely OC, because I think OC have now been like that's the third RLCS or the third I think that have been.
Oh no, it's been more than that. Like they've been since season 3, 3 or 4.
It was free.
Since season 3, so it's 4, 5, 6. 7.
Yeah, I have no
This is
clue.
their 5th season.
So yeah, this is the 5th season, and they had some good results, sure, but like Bacon said, they're the weakest. They're
Chiefs
coming
got
tonight.
4th in season 6, was it?
6, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was their strongest performance
Yeah.
ever so far.
Yeah, and looking at the teams now, like I don't have the qualifying results in the head, but as you said, they're pretty weak compared to other regions. And Sam came in with a banging last season, like showing that they can go toe to toe with like tier 2 teams basically in the RLCS level. But yeah, OC have to just. I have a feeling like they go out without a single win, but I hope for them and for the scene that OC is providing that they can at least show up a bit and give like upcoming players a chance to also prove themselves and have a goal to work to.
Dex?
I think OCE need it more. The only reason I'm saying that is Sam is still relatively new, and the support has kind of been building slowly. Whereas OCE, we have seen a drop-off, especially with the move from, was it GFIN to LPL and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And all of
Don't
that
get me
lot,
started,
they
please.
need everything they can get. But my problem is I don't see them doing it at all.
I mean, I think we'll come to that later on during the
Yeah,
show.
for
I
sure.
think Baker already mentioned it earlier that the OC is showing this
I
season.
may have been a bit hopeful.
I think
For
OC
both regions, though.
OC
it's all
sort of
fair.
like like stance right now is certainly I think one of their weakest fields that they fielded in RLCS before. So I think I have to agree with you.
I'd very much say OC kind of peaked with Season 6 Chiefs. That was the peak roster that they could have made, and things haven't really developed since.
I mean, OC is just waiting on Hawk, it feels like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hawk is going to be our savior, but
Yeah.
I think I agree with you again. I think I'll give my point and my whole thing.
Any
later.
Sam boys over there?
Yeah, I was
Failius.
going to throw my hat in the ring for Sam.
Hey.
I do agree with the whole Season 6 Chiefs because that's still my strongest memory of OC. Oh, now it needs to go up. I see.
You've got no mic technique whatsoever.
I
Around
missed
about
the
there
bad
is where it
mics.
needs to stay.
Okay,
Perfect.
There we go. Yeah, so Season 6 Chiefs, great, legendary. You have dreams about them in my sleep.
Wait,
What?
Wait,
Whoa! Hold
Okay,
on!
let's
Hold
talk
on!
about this.
Hold
Let's
on!
talk
Hold
about
on!
this.
Hold on!
There was,
No judging.
There was a point at the end of this, I think. OC has had the limelight. I think the teams they have at the minute aren't strong enough to sort of back them up as a region. I think it's a bit of a harsh statement, but fairly true. Whereas Sam has been going for a long time. It's only just starting to get the limelight I'd say it deserves. But, Sam's been trucking all behind the scenes since, I want to say Season 2 is when it started growing as a scene. I think if they can do a run like the Chiefs did to get sort of OC's name out there, then I think that's going to be the boost that they need. And if they can do it now, it'll be good. I don't think they will, but I think there's a chance.
Why do you think Sam though needs sort of the performance though? I think you mentioned.
Well, because I just think Sam as a region, I believe Bacon said it has potential to grow the esport in. OCE still has. You're pulling your face there. that
Sorry, no,
I
I'm
can't see.
thinking of my answer. So
Okay. As I say, OCE is sort of throwing its name out there. While at the minute it's dwindling in terms of, anything esports related. Shout out to all the OCE talent that are doing their thing as well. But as far as support goes, I feel like OCE has it. Not from Psyonix, but at least from the audience.
Well, for Sam, it seems like they need a reason to support them. That's what I'm going to say. You get a Sam team to top 6, and then you could start see ESL step out. They've already done, ESL Brazil, all that, but serious prize pools goes in, serious sponsors, and that all just comes off the back of good results. Because at the moment, there's not much worth in it for them. Your best is that the Sam teams will go to Worlds just as sort of like a gimme and expected to double drop out. But if they actually get past that, then the teams might actually support the players a little bit more money, sponsors will come in, and that's where it starts to build.
Can we just move CJ to Sam? Yeah, I think that's all they need.
That works, yeah.
We take one player from each of the other regions and make the Sam super team.
Yeah, there we go.
Jam, your thoughts and your answer to the question.
I think right now South America needs to perform the biggest because right now everything is stacked for them, specifically on this World Championship. They brought in people from Rocket Street, to either broadcast or be here.
Yep.
They have obviously the whole event being in Madrid, a lot of Spanish-speaking folks, and I do know that the Brazil and majority of the Latin America or South America are speaking Portuguese, but I feel
just Brazil speaks Portuguese.
Oh, my bad then. But still, it is, I think, a close enough of a language that they will be able to. This is their thing. This is finally their thing. So if they do not perform, if things do not go, not just for the teams but for the production as well, then I'm not exactly sure what the consequences for that will be. But I would really like for them to succeed because they have been in RLCS for a less amount of time than OCE. OCE had their own problems, and right now they might be on the downswing. They had organization changes for their league, problems with casters as well. Yumi had to figure out something crazy, and finally I think they've figured out something for him for the season as well. But for me, if I had to pick South America, I think this is their time, and they have everything for them going. It's just that they need to really get that and capitalize on it.
I'm gonna say South America as well. Actually, you're surprised. No,
I was expecting the 3-3 split between the two, but no.
No, I'm all about the South America hype, just because just because I think that, again, it's so much potential there, as you guys mentioned, and it's like, as a market, it's also a fantastic sort of area to break in. There are not a lot of esports that have the luxury to do so, and the ones that do usually have anywhere from really good success, like we had with the LG or SK lineup back in CS:GO when they sort of became the biggest teams, to sort of like niche sort of sparks of brilliance like we have in Rainbow Six every now and again. I think in Rocket League you certainly have the potential to make a lot of money from that sort of respect,
especially if the speculation for free to play goes.
Yeah, exactly.
South America will lap that up.
Yeah, and on that note, actually, I think the true region that really needs to support this this next year, this next decade, is of course neither OCE or South America. It's fucking Asia, guys. It's fucking Asia. Okay, let's see some Asian Rocket League coming out to the RLCS.
10-cent money when?
Never, apparently. Right, let's move on to the next question. Hit it, Tractor. Oh no, he's going to fade out before we do. Let's have a look. What do we got? Cameron161 asks us, what esports shop items would you like to see next? New decals, new explosions, something else, question mark. I would like to see classic complexity logo stuff.
Yes.
Because
classic dig? When? Classic dig.
classic logos of the old sort of guys. Because I think the complexity and Dignitas logos, they have a lot of history behind them, especially the Dignitas, especially the complexity one, because that brand is older than Dignitas was. I'd say probably Dignitas as well, though, because that alien head was fucking iconic. Yeah. It was so iconic beyond belief. And I think that it's the greatest travesty of esports sort of brands. It's the idea to see that sort of thing fade away in favor of a generic American sports eagle, essentially. It's like, brilliant, awesome. We've got 50 of those. Yeah. But
it still annoys me that the cut in the star is on the wrong side. They could have done the star with the cut to make it a C, and they didn't do it. That annoys me so much.
I think that's because it's the same logo as the Dallas Cowboys.
It's on the bottom. Yeah, it's on the bottom side there. But if they just change it around slightly, it could have been the C, which would made it work.
Maybe, but possibly. But yeah, I'd like to see some complexity in Dignitas classic logos coming through. Just because even if it is just for a limited time only, I'll lap that shit up, because I have the old complexity in Dignitas jerseys, which you will see, by the way, this weekend if you watch the broadcast. I'm definitely gonna be wearing those. RIP complexity, obviously. But that's the point. Actually, now that they don't have a team, will they even get an item next season? I don't even fucking know. No. But
unless they pick up a new team.
Discombobulator's. Jam, what do you want?
Really, nothing specifically interests me in the item shop right now.
Have you ever bought an esports item?
No, that's the thing. So I'm
what a cunt.
I'm not exactly.
Jay, have you ever bought an esports item?
No.
wait. Let's just hold this, actually. Failius, have you ever bought an esports item?
Yeah, I have.
Hey.
How many and what were they?
It was just the banners. I've been collecting the banners because they're pretty much the only
affordable.
item I use. Yeah, affordable for sure. But if I'm thinking I want to support a team or whatever, I go for the more subtle things like the banners rather than a massive yellow splice decal that I can equip onto the blue team.
Anymore.
Rip splice.
Although I did buy that one.
I mean, you can get a backers mod if you really want to wear that now.
Yeah.
But Dex?
All the mouse sports stuff. Everything mouse sports. And Cole and SSG when they came in this year as well. I bought a lot of that.
Right.
So technically,
here we go.
The thing is, after Ghost dropped Leftomir, I promised Memory to buy Ghost stuff because I'm a big fan of him. The problem I had is every time I looked into the shop, no Ghost items, and now it looks like...
We called this would be a fucking problem, by the way, on the podcast.
And
we said this would be an issue.
Actually,
We're
no.
fucking
We
right.
looked yesterday. There was Ghost Wheels, but they're the 1,000 credit
Oh,
ones, which is
fuck
like
off.
£10.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
And now that Memory looks to be off the roster, I'm not going to buy anything.
Small correction. The only Mouse Sports item I haven't bought is when they did titanium white apexes because I'm not paying £22. Cheers.
So bacon.
And no,
You
I'm
haven't.
not.
Okay.
I have proudly worn the PSG
Through
decal
backers,
through
mod.
backers, yes.
Big rip. But anyways, Failius, what would you like to see in the esports shop?
I'm gonna be the contrarian and say antennas, honestly, because
With the flags.
with the flags. Because can we go back to the days where we have the cute little community flags? Yeah. We were adding community flags to the game.
I mean, John Sandman got one, yet Rival didn't. Come on.
You're not wanting to go that path, and then next patch you release more anyway, and then the patch after that, and the patch after that. But no, it's okay. I forgive you
Not
guys.
salty at all.
Yeah,
Well,
not
so
salty from the production company of the
But
rival series. Beach
antenna's the
Stream,
only
you know.
thing that I'd consider using because you can add them to sort of any Leave me alone.
Can you see how hard it is? Actually, what you got to think about.
I appreciate people that use mics. Okay, yeah, but just slap it on anything. Antennas, done deal. Thanks.
Trying to think. With the mass adoption of the Fennec now, maybe Fennec decals, especially as they're coming out in the shop. The body's coming out in the shop as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other thing I can think of off the top of my head is similar down the route of classic team logos. Some of the kind of non-org endemic names that we've had, kind of early seasons Kings of Urban, all that kind of stuff. Again, where that profit goes and where the money goes from those is obviously complicated.
Yeah.
But just
The
a
question
way
is,
of
what would you like?
a way of bringing the history back in that was there.
I think also the problem with that as well is obviously it doesn't fit Psyonix's bottom line because the reason why they brought the esports site in the first place is to stop organisations from walking out.
Yeah.
Hasn't worked, has it?
Hasn't worked.
Fnatic, PSG, Complexity, some others,
Splice,
Splice, EG, CLG,
Yeah.
that hasn't really worked, has it, boys?
Sorry, just on that point, I thought of a new idea. Ball skins, so I can hit around that goddamn Dignitas logo.
Yes! Oh my god!
That's a good one.
Just,
Fucking hire this man! Hire this
Please.
man! He already works for Rival.
but like other games do it where it's like, oh, the person that scores it uses their ball skin for everyone in the match. Please don't call them ball skins though. I realised that's where I said it. But yeah, I'll let the creative team think
Ball
of a better name for
decals,
that.
thank you. There we go.
That might sound even worse.
Go
Yeah,
the
Trox.
Fortnite
that was
route
my
with
little
raps.
Trox, please save this
I
conversation.
think Jan wants to say something first.
I just want to quickly follow up on Failius' idea, not of the something for the footballs that will be on the field. Actually, on his idea of antennas, I do believe that the latest Rocket Pass has some interesting antennas, and I would just like to see more inventive use of antennas, because not just like a stick with a flag on top of it. But like they did something, I can't remember the exact item, but it wasn't even looking almost like an antenna. It was just something pretty interesting. Maybe they can do something of more inventive with the other items, or bring something else in. Let's say a separate boost for aerial shots or something like that. Some new stuff to bring in.
Transition and boost would be quite cool, yeah.
So something like that. Specifically for the footballs, though, I do believe you might run into the issue of visibility. Though, if it's actually a skin that will be used for everyone or just for you.
I'm
just gonna
is just
insert-
to put like the white outline around the ball.
I'm just going to insert, if you have like a transparent logo, like I don't know if you guys remember the Logitech G Cool Cup. It's a Japanese tournament that happened. And I remember I specifically made a post about this on Twitter. I think it also made Reddit as well from someone else. But they actually I think they used Baguette's mod to change the skin of the game, so that way they had the Logitech logo on the ball itself. And it's like, if you did that, even if you were able to sell sponsor decals on the ball itself, like that would be so fucking cool. That would be such like a cool little marketing move because it's essentially just dead center of the screen at all fucking times.
Do I remember correctly though that Psyonix didn't really like that?
They didn't really like that.
I mean, you're probably the best one to answer that, Failius, right now. From
They didn't really like that.
That's it.
Drops the mic. I love it.
Please don't drop my mics, please. I've already done it twice today.
No, especially since that's mine. Guess that leaves me last. For me,
Trox hasn't fucking said his
I thought
bit.
he wanted.
No. I didn't really have anything, but now after like thinking about it, it's general new item idea. Like in Counter-Strike, for example, you have when you're the MVP of a round, you get the possibility to add a sound effect, like the easy for end sound.
Oh yes, of course.
If you have that like for the MVP of the match, imagine like just choke sound clips or like for example the end sound.
Or animations to it.
Or animations.
Like,
I'm
car
fucking
drives
done.
in.
Yeah, exactly. like your car drives in and does some pre-defined shit. That would be really cool, in my opinion. I would buy that, honestly. I'm never MVP, but I would buy that.
I think that's the best one so far, and it makes mine feel bad. I was just going to go with like crowd chants. They finally added chants the background noise. Why not
Yeah.
team specific ones?
Fera.
Exactly. And yeah, you could go through like just add it on into an audio menu and just from your packs what you have and then just tick you want that pack in or whatever. So you didn't always have to, let's say you owned Reciprocity, Vitality and Mouse and you're like, today I only fancy Reciprocity and Vitality because they're in Worlds at the moment. Or you're just there going a little bit sadistic or something and go for Mouse on its own. You know? Yeah, you just go for that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be hard to get those recordings. Well, unless it's the teams at Worlds, of course, which you could
So here's
just
the
get
thing,
from
if you've
this
got the
weekend.
broadcast footage, if you set it up
Yeah.
correctly, then you can actually record us.
You can scrub and clean the recordings to make it a little easier. But yeah, you could do that for Worlds. Otherwise, I just want Worlds specific decals like Vitality winning last season. I said, why is there not a Vitality like more golden decal with say season 7 winners?
Oh, sorry. Tractus has given us a very interesting idea. Is that we should actually have Psyonix should invite all the EU crowds to an auditorium and just get them to record it, just off a one-day thing. Utilize the community, guys.
That wouldn't actually be the bad idea. And you just go straight there
Exactly.
saying,
Here's the thing: you could literally just say free lunch on us, and you'd get us all there.
you don't pay for anything. You just cater lunch
Exactly.
and say if you want to be there, be part of it, and I don't know, put something in credits like everyone's name just in the in-game credits for whatever, like wherever that goes, and that's it. That's what everyone wants because we're enthusiasts. We get involved on that anyway.
Well, you can also get involved and let us know what your best ideas are for new esports item shops, esports items in the shop. Let's see if I can say that right. I've had a few to drink tonight, okay? We won't tell you how much, but yes, I've had a few. At RLAfterShock on Twitter, and of course in the Discord, links through the show notes and video descriptions of every single episode of the podcast, where you can let us know what your opinions are. Get involved in the conversation, as you always do every week. Next question, when Intractor wants to go ahead and transition these away. Oh no, he's actually going to flick to it immediately. That's perfect. Awesome. Tyswoogles asks, if OCE had another last place finish, do you think there is any hope of the region ever returning to a competitive level? I think we've kind of sort of semi-covered this to a certain
You
extent.
could just literally go around and you just go, no.
Well, let's do that right now.
Right, okay, so if they got another if they're going to return, no.
No.
Hawk. That is the solution.
Will Rocket League be around in 2 years? That's the better question.
Yeah.
Not with the path we're going down.
Well, I was going to say no.
Maybe.
Oh,
See, the thing is,
care to expand?
yeah. See, the thing is, if Psyonix will eventually bring in Asia, and we'll have to somehow work around so many regions in one tournament, I wouldn't be surprised if something like a Champions League or Europa League, I think it's called right now, system will be implemented where teams performing well retain their spots. Teams that are not performing well are getting less and less spots.
I mean, like regions that are performing well, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So
I was going to say that's kind of the point of the league. You know? Yeah, I can see that happily, to be honest. I could also see the idea of blending Asia in with Australia as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that we talked about in one of our episodes when we kind of came up with our perfect RLCS.
Australasia.
Australasia, actually.
Because CS, Australia's mixed in with Asia anyway, isn't
yeah,
it, really?
in the minors, of course.
Yeah.
Was it not just Southeast Asia it's
Nope.
mixed in with, or
Nope.
the whole?
The whole of Asia.
That's why everyone kept banging on at Renegades, so basically just getting a free pass through the Asia minor to get a major spot every single time.
Not anymore, because they're 100 Thieves now. So there you go.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think we're all kind of in agreement, especially with the concept of like South
We
America.
can
having more
definitely say
potential.
this weekend we're all going to be chanting like OC stuff as much as we can.
yeah.
We'll be chanting from everyone, really.
Well, I mean, I think we love the OCE guys. They've produced some absolute great sort of moments like CJ's sort of shit shenanigans, and obviously the various levels of interviews and banter that we've seen over the course of the OCE region. Like, I think in terms of from a content perspective, the region has just a lot going for it. But again, in terms of like marketing potential and in terms of actual Rocket League potential, South America's starting to grab the reins a little bit, and certainly that'll be a great measuring stick for going into this next season as well. So thank you, of course, for your questions. Again, if you do want to leave us a question, it's via the Discord links through the show notes and video descriptions. In the channel in the Mailbag channel is where you can go ahead and leave us those questions, and there's a good chance we'll answer it live on an episode of RLAfterShock. Of course, this is not live for all of you all; it's live for us. So therefore, I'm calling it live. Right, let's get to our
Just
main
on that
feature.
note, with OC as well, we haven't come up with a chance for Canberra yet. That's going to be hard.
That is a craftsman
Lead
thing
duck.
for tomorrow.
Lead duck and spy doge. This is not going to be easy.
I will.
James
I've,
Bond theme for spy doge.
I've got one, but it's like a UK one only, so like most of the guys here won't get it.
Anywho.
Right, we're going to be doing our predictions, of course, as we do for every single World Championship. We get guests on the show.
Look at the guests.
And we will ask them for their predictions going into the World Championship. And it's going to work very similar to how we've done it before. Everyone's going to make predictions of how they think the brackets are going to work out all in one go. And, of course, depending on who manages to get the right predictions and wrong predictions, we'll be able to earn some points and we'll find an overall winner. I think, Bacon, you have won... You won the first one. I think the second one was won by Crafters.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do that episode, so I was.
No, you did
out
do
of
that
it.
episode. You did do that episode because the first one was myself, you, Crafters, and Doomsy. The second one we replaced Doomsy with Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And wait.
Going up.
I swear I was not in the second one because I couldn't do it.
No, I swear you was.
We're going to have to scrub through
We're going to have to scrub through them.
animals, yeah.
Bottom line is that Bacon's already won one, so I really don't want him to win. So therefore, I brought in some backup, and they're going to do the
That
predictions
didn't
as
matter
well.
if I won one or not.
There are 95 points up for grabs for all of us today, and of course the winner will be announced on next episode's edition of the podcast. As well as that, there is also another pick'em game that you can get involved on in the Aftershock Discord. Dexter is going to be running that. We've already got most of the assets set up for it, so it should be going live a little bit after this show is going to be, I think, recorded or published. I'm not really sure. We'll figure that out later. Bottom line is that we have all of the predictions from all of our participants today. So we'll run through a few of those brackets. Again, 95 points is the maximum, and it all comes down to which team we see in which stage. So where they're placed and specifically where the matches go will all be completely sort of like, will be completely irrelevant. It's all just down to who gets into what stage. So who would like to go first?
Get mine out of the way, I suppose.
Awesome.
Right,
Let's do
Dex
Dex then.
first.
He will
Right.
kick things off by talking about his stuff. I will move out the way so you can sort of see our little screen.
Time to
I've
piss.
realised how that light is going to fuck with things a little bit because it covers the
it's
entire...
not bad. Not too bad for me.
Not too bad for you? Awesome. Well, talk us through your Group A.
Right. Where do we start? Group A. So Veloce, low key. Veloce, obviously hot coming in, but I wonder whether there's an element of them being onliners and maybe not being able to turn up on LAN. You never know. And low key coming in very hot as well, as the Sam basically super team at the moment. I wonder if there was a chance for an upset. So it's a ballsy pick, but drop that one in first. EU Renegades, they're the top seed from OC, but they're not. They're not anything compared to where OC was like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Cammy's stable, Torsos is stable, he's good, but and Siki is just he's there. But there's no spark between the three of them for me. Well, in their own region, sure, but on the international stage. We'll just have to see, I think. Next kind of stage for Group A, I went very, very predictable. NRG, Vitality taking out the two lesser seeded teams. EU, they did quite well in American regionals, but compared to Vitality, it's a completely different beast.
Oh, yeah.
And I had NRG going through as top pick over Vitality, which is where I start to piss people off on this podcast.
Really?
I wonder, because with the EU focus on things,
I may have put the same prediction.
I just have a feeling.
Bacon is the thing. I may have done the same thing.
Yeah. Right, so I might be starting to make some more friends here. So lower bracket, Veloce beating out EU.
Right, so the thing there is, if there's nothing on the line, Vitality don't show up.
Yeah.
We know this. So unless they'll make it to the playoffs, we reckon, or I'm assuming everyone does because it's Vitality, and that's when they'll finally turn up.
I mean, by that point, they're guaranteed semis anyway for second seed. Oh, no, round of six, sorry.
Round of six.
Yeah, so they're already guaranteed playoffs. It's just like, well, it's done now, isn't it? So that might be that.
And then we have seen that attitude from them in the past as well. So,
yeah.
you know.
Veloce EU, I just don't see United toppling them, really. As much as I may want to see it, no, I don't think it's happening. Renegades low key, finally getting an actual OC versus Sam game. Looking forward to it.
The one for me that I find interesting here is your lower bracket to Group A, actually, with Veloce getting done by low key straight away, but then them coming back in the lower bracket.
Yeah.
Explain that a bit, because I think that's the interesting bit for everyone here.
I'm just wondering with the kind of whole, I mean, I went straight out and said onliners straight away. I just wonder if they're going to have that cold start, whether it's just the kind of settings going to get to them, that kind of stuff. I mean, the same thing can be said for low key as well. As a team, it'll be their first LAN as well. So it's all a bit up in the air, but I just wonder if Veloce will have their heads together by the time, and the lower bracket might just get into their heads and it's like, no, we really have to perform now. Once you've got that first life taken away, I think they might be able to pull it through.
That lower bracket takes place on day 2, doesn't it, if I'm correct?
Yes.
They they'll be going through the upper brackets of A, then they go through the upper bracket of B, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it's either way, they go through the upper brackets and then halfway through, at the start of day 2, they'll do the lower brackets and the finals for both. Travis giving signals off to Joe.
Sorry, no, he's talking about some random shit. But continue, please.
Yeah. I just wonder if they get their heads together once they're in that lower bracket. Renegades low key, again, I'm just really not sold on OC this year at all. Yeah. I think it's a really... Renegades came out on top, but it doesn't say much to beat what you've got in front of you, if you know what I mean. And I just think low key, they'll beat them out, but Veloce will have their heads screwed on by the time it comes up to that rematch.
Yeah, I can see that.
Group B.
Across to the right.
I think this went fairly kind of regular for me. Space Station over Canberra Havoc. The only match I've really watched from Canberra was the OCE regionals where they beat out Chiefs, and Chiefs handed that to them. Really, it was their series to throw away, and they did. So I don't see them. Maybe there's some upset potential, but I didn't really see any kind of real flashes of brilliance out of them, but they still managed to pull it through, which I suppose is commendable. You need to be able to grind out the results like that, but I just against a team like Space Station that are all out, full on aggressive, I don't think they'll get anything done. Dig 3 Sins, it was a really difficult one for me.
You think that's difficult?
I really 3 Sins being able to topple low key as well in SAM regionals. And just the players they've got on their roster. I mean, I called low-key the Sam Super Team. 3 Sins is really not far behind for me. And I just wonder, again, if that kind of like first match just get out of the gates, I wonder if with the kind of spirit that Sam have as a region and the way their teams play, I wonder if that kind of match 1 get out the gate could take them there. But I do have Dig taking them. Reciprocity Space Station, that was, again, a bit difficult, but... I feel the Frenchies could pull off.
That's not difficult at all. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably.
I don't know, because the way SSG played, especially towards the end of the season, when things were clicking, they were absolutely unstoppable. So we'll see how it goes for that. But yeah, reciprocity going through. Pittsburgh, Dig. Again, I think Dig. We'll see which version of them turns up, but Pittsburgh again looked fantastic. And then reciprocity beating out Pittsburgh again, another kind of similar. I see Pittsburgh and Space Station as very similar teams. Play styles, aggression, that kind of stuff. So I've kind of picked the same result twice in a way. Dig beating out Canberra, as I've said, I just feel like there's nothing going on there. Space Station beating out Three Sins, that's tough for me, unfortunately. Like, well, the choice isn't tough, but to see a team like that just go out in two seems a bit harsh, but it's the way things lined up for me, you know. Dig, Space Station, I had Space Station going through.
I think, for that one, Dig, Space Station, I could see go either way.
Yeah. Again, it's all about which version of Dig we actually see. Whether Astral's out there by himself.
If they can get last day of Beyond the Summit form back in, Dig would be dangerous.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's that group out of the way.
Finals predictions?
Finals predictions.
No, we'll go
leave
for
finals.
Okay.
We'll go for each bracket. We'll
Groups
go for each person's sheet all in one go. So
Okay. So do finals now then.
So
when Tractor can bring it up.
Pittsburgh Veloce is how that lined up. Now, again, have Veloce warmed up by then? But I think Pittsburgh, if they really get their momentum on, they could really be on a stormer. So, not a particularly easy choice, but I could see Pittsburgh through again.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that's going to be like a game 7.
Yeah.
Because we have to say as well, ain't it? All the Group A and Group B is best of 5s, isn't it? It's only the playoffs which then go to Group
best of 7.
Best 7s.
Yeah.
So, that will probably go to game 6 or 7.
Now, Space Station Vitality, this is where Day 3 Vitality turns up, and Day 3 K-Dot turns up. So
4-0?
maybe not that comprehensive, but you never know. It could very well be a shorter series. NRG Pittsburgh, I just think NRG. I think they've just got too much to them, and they showed that previously against Pittsburgh as well. They're just both the matchups. I don't even want to say it was like ultra close.
NRG is a team that's just getting better with time.
Well, exactly.
As they're learning it, they're scary.
Yeah. And Reciprocity Vitality. Now, I've just spoken about Day 3 Vitality turning up, and I have Reciprocity going up through. I just think, again, if we get the right version of Chaussette turn up, I think that series is done.
We tried to look into this. I can remember a couple of weeks back, Jay. I think Vitality's only beaten Reciprocity once so far this year. Something like that. Maybe twice. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, Reciprocity just have Vitality's number this year. Which
didn't we have the comment at the start of the year when they were still PSG with Scrub saying, I'm not going to lose to you all season.
3 in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
They've barely even beat them this year. Yeah. So, I could see that being the case again. Especially if Chaussette turns up the way he needs to, I think that series could just be done.
What would you say if Chaussette doesn't turn up, where they change to the Fruity being so important?
I think that's a struggle then for them. I really think, Fruity can pop off, but the way his role is at the moment, it's too based in just being a role player for me. I mean, sure.
It's the backup plan. They would never choose to go with that.
Yeah, it's if they recognise that things are where they need to kick in the backup for me. It's whether they actually swap over and effectively manage to swap over to that backup. Because we've seen a couple of series, I don't think it was this season, but certainly before, where their backup plan, where it doesn't kick in, they just look hopeless sometimes. I think that's changed in the last season or so, but you never know if it's going to creep back in. And then the grand final, this is where I was talking about being a Judas on the nice European podcast. I have NRG over Reciprocity. Now that they've finally taken on EU help, they're actually going to win it.
In fairness, you know what? Not to blaspheme, but I feel like that is a possible outcome.
Yeah.
Right? Just because NRG are fucking unstoppable in North America. Like, no one can touch them.
I'm going to say spoilers. That's my winner as well.
I can't remember what my winners were. I know that was my finals as well, but that we'll get into those details in a little bit. Honestly, I have to say that was pretty uncontroversial, to be honest. I think that you've done a good
evaluation of Space Station is questionable for me.
I mean, I don't give a fuck since North America, so I don't know what I can say about that.
I think it started off a bit rocky, but everything equalised out eventually.
Yeah, so I can say so. Honestly, I think that's a pretty fair prediction. Honestly, I don't mind that. I mean, since obviously you brought it up a little bit, Bacon, why don't we jump to yours?
Go on then, feel free. Like I said, I've been a little bit ambitious for OC, I think, this time around. And I'd say Sam is the first match, of course, Veloce versus Loki. I can't see Veloce losing that. I'm sorry. They go on through, but then they'll get smacked by NRG because it's NRG. The opposite side, of course, Unite versus Renegades. I don't really rate Unite coming into this. I think regionals was them overperforming and making it on through. Because we've never seen a performance like that from them before. Renegades, however, I think should be able to do it well with their experience, but they'll go up against Vitality and get smacked as well because it's Vitality. Going into the finals, NRG versus Vitality, like we said before, Vitality don't show up till last day. NRG should be able to take that easy. Looking at lower bracket, Loki versus Renegades, now that is tasty. That's the game everyone would love to see this Worlds, because that is literally best of Sam going up against best of OC. And I think Sam's stronger. I think Loki will take that with the current Renegades roster. They'll move on to face Veloce, who take down United, which I think most people would look at that and probably agree on. And yeah, then I have Veloce taking down Loki once again. And that's quite cool that I think me and you have the same thought of we'll have a Veloce Loki rematch, which is always great at Wales to see a rematch go on there. So over to Group B, please.
I will say, by the way, that for Group A, the seedings for Vitality have worked up perfectly. Just because it basically seems they've got an easy path in. So by the time they hit day 3 is when they can really start showing up. So
yeah, definitely. And yeah, looking at Group B, Space Station versus Canberra. Yep, Space Station, easy. Dig versus Free Sins. I have really rated Dig, and you'll see this looking a little bit to the right. I reckon Dig are going to pop off this Worlds and finally hit their stride, because it has been a terrible few months.
I'm not going to... I have questions about that. Like, holy shit.
Okay, so yeah, Dig...
I mean, we'll talk about that in detail when you go through your Group B.
Yeah, so Reciprocity easily take down Space Station, but Dig taking down Free Sins, I think most people would agree on. Against Pittsburgh Knights, though, I reckon that's where people would disagree, because Pittsburgh Knights are looking good at the moment. We have to admit that, but I think it's going to finally click together for Dig. It's been a long time coming. We saw glimpses of it at Beyond the Summit, and I think finally they'll get that form again where they can make the run. But that run will be stopped by Reciprocity, because Reciprocity, you can't help it. They're just absolutely nuts at the moment. Looking to the lower bracket, Canberra versus Pittsburgh Knight, easy smack for Pittsburgh. Free Sins versus Space Station, and yeah, I reckon the Space Station will have that, but Pittsburgh Knights will be able to easily take down Space Station there. Like, when we see matchups, that's how it is.
I can mostly agree with that lower bracket, but I don't think Dig are going to pop off in this one.
You don't think the Dig pop?
I will get into more details when it comes to mine.
I reckon Astral's going to get up on that stage.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's going to perform. I can't, in good faith, predict a team that relies on one player popping off, because that's the only thing that got Dig through those regional playoffs.
So it's not about Astral popping off, really. It comes down to Yuko performing. He's been really subpar over the last few months.
Back in HD.
It's a grandie.
It's a grandie. We've got more guests.
Yeah, it really comes down to Yukio performing, because he's the lad, I reckon, and I think others might agree, he's probably on the chopping block coming up this transfer window.
Yeah, possibly. I think we talked about it before. I think that's probably very likely. But
the three, he's the one that's...
I think a lot of people are going to disagree on that Dignitas pick, though. Like, You're shaking your head sort of back and forth here on this one?
I believe it was called rocking my head.
But same thing.
Do you think it's the right pick for them to get up to second seed?
I think it's definitely possible. I didn't put it as happening, because I'm the one that has little to no faith in them at this point. But sure, maybe if they roll the dice well enough, then they might make it.
Well, let's move on to Baker's playoffs then. What did you pick for your playoffs?
This was pretty easy, to be honest, from this point onwards.
Yeah, I was gonna
Veloce
say.
taking down Dig, which would be a great first matchup on the playoffs, but I picked Veloce to take it. I reckon Dig will throw on the last day. I think they'll look good. Everyone will get that revitalized hope during the groups, but they'll drop on the last day. On the playoffs, they just won't hit it. So they go on. Veloce then goes on to NRG, and NRG will smack them once again, because that'll be the second time they face off against each other, of course. Vitality versus Pittsburgh Knights. Vitality, I've got to back on that. I think Vitality are going to look good, but the problem is, then they've got reciprocity.
Yeah.
These two, this will be such a good semi, and would be, I reckon, the best match of the entire tournament, which a semi-final is always the best match. It is a running theme. And then Reciprocity will take down Vitality because that's the pattern. Go up against NRG, and NRG finally get the championship. I think it's all linking down. This is me as well. I was sitting down because I was the first one to do the predictions, and I was there for ages going, I can't pick the last two because it is so hard.
No, trust me. I think a lot of us had to sort of like just
Because you
basically
look at the
toss a coin
story
for that
here,
one.
if Reciprocity do it, it is revenge for getting beaten by... not revenge, but it's the second time that they were taking down NRG with Valencia being the opposite side. And it would just be there like such a good little rivalry going between not only EU and NA, but an NA team and an EU team specifically between them. But I think this is going to be nice revenge for NRG for that.
Who wants to go next then? Trox? All right then.
Just saying, I have fucked up the lower bracket seeding as it was complicated.
It's okay, so long as the
But,
teams
my
end up in the
final
respective
choice
street.
don't even change much. So, Group A upper bracket Veloce against Loki. Obviously Veloce, nothing much to say there. United against Renegades, also pretty obvious, honestly. United takes that. Energy Veloce, I have
Shade at me, that's fine.
I have Energy going through because it's just a force to be reckoned with. And then Vitality against United is I picked actually United.
Why?
Partially because I think Vitality have starting problems at tournaments and lands, and they have to go to day 3 to really start showing their power. Don't worry, you have them in the lower bracket as the winner, but I feel like United comes in with more passion right now, as they're the new guys basically on the block, and they want to show everyone that they're capable of beating teams like Vitality. And then actually Energy going through with Vitality in the lower brackets managing going through.
Do you want to verify something real quick? Because your Veloce Vitality pick as well. That's
No, that's actually wrong seeding.
That's wrong seeding.
Yeah,
How?
I fucked up the lower bracket seeding. So
No.
It's not.
Oh.
No, it's
that's
not. It's
fine.
fine. It's fine. Oh, no, sorry. Then that
You talk
allows
about
me to
your
continue.
finals, the
Oh.
top 6. I think he got that the wrong way around, but we can just adjust that.
Because didn't Veloce beat Vitality?
During league play, yeah.
Yeah.
because they played Mouse and Vitality the same week.
Yeah.
but I feel like
Sorry, Vitality. Yeah,
Vitality has extremely more LAN experience, and they're just beating out Veloce in that regard.
But then doesn't that kind of counteract your point
That
about
would-
them not getting started on day one?
Yeah, I mean they have start problems at the first match.
No, you're right. They can't play each other there.
Yeah, I mean
Veloce would go up against
it would
Renegades.
go- yeah, exactly.
That's where we're getting.
So
But-
I put Veloce against Vitality in the lower bracket finals then.
Where it'd be Veloce versus Renegades, who I'd imagine you would say would be Veloce winnings.
And Loki
Renegades
against Vitality.
versus Loki.
No, Loki,
Sorry,
Loki against
Vitality versus
But then that
Loki.
basically comes out to the same result.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
basically the finals would be Veloce against Vitality with Vitality going through.
Yeah,
All right then. Group B.
there we go.
Yeah, Group B, Space Station against Canberra. I actually have Canberra because
What
I want,
are you drinking there, buddy?
I want an upset. I want an upset in group stage. And
Right,
I
just
feel
because
like
you
Sorry,
want
this
something
would
doesn't
be-
mean it will actually happen.
Actually, no. I've just looked at the rest of the bracket. This is the upset bracket from Trox.
Yeah, this is the upset bracket. And I feel like Space Station and Dignitas are the teams that are most susceptible to getting an upset. And I have both Canberra and 3 Sins making through. So now Canberra, I don't know, I just feel like Space Station isn't the team to pull through far.
I do think that if any team is going to choke really badly, it will be those teams.
Yeah.
It will be.
And I can see that more than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, to give Trox a bit of reason, I reckon Space Station would look at them, just go, we don't have to worry about Canberra, and just purely focus on reciprocity.
Yeah.
And they're the only team they would have prepped for. I could see that.
Now on the bottom match, I have Dignitas against 3 Sins and 3 Sins pulling through.
What? That's not what it says here.
No, sorry, in the upper bracket still.
Oh, okay, right.
3 Sins pulling through there. One reason is because 3 Sins just 2 hours ago announced that they had to switch coaches, and now Banana Man is their coach, and I feel like Banana Man.
What? Serious?
Yeah.
Leo's going to be coaching him?
Like their
Fucking A, boys. Let's do
their
it.
coach got sick, so he can't attend. And they, Banana Man being Brazilian and all, he managed to get onto the team. And I feel like Banana Man pulls in so much passion and.
I can't wait to see him up on stage.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
Like being
We
hyped.
covered this last week, that coaches are apparently going to be on stage.
We did not. I didn't even know about that last week, so...
You're useless. But yes, apparently coaches are going to be on stage. It's got leaked by some of the coaches within Discord servers. And yeah, I could actually back that because that lad would just be purposely hyped
Like he's
up.
a hype.
We've
man.
already seen him dress up as a cheerleader really
Yeah.
on his stream, so he knows the job.
I still
He's ready.
hope he got Josefina on the flight here. I mean, I hope
That
so.
is a joke that only people who watch his stream are going to understand.
Can we actually just acknowledge as well, his streaming
Yeah.
dedication
Yeah.
is incredible.
I'm
He's
happy
probably
for him.
going to be partner very soon.
Yeah.
With how
I'm
much
happy
Yeah.
for how many viewers he got recently.
Love you, Leo. Face down next month. I love you. What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
All right, going on. Reciprocity against Canberra, obviously. So this time, Canberra isn't going for reciprocity wins that easily. Pittsburgh and three Sins, same actually. Pittsburgh managed to go through with reciprocity managing to win that as well. Lower bracket against the fuck up. It's Canberra against Dignitas, I think, with Dignitas pulling through.
Mm-hmm.
And then Space Station against 3 Sins. I would actually put Space Station there, but Dignitas qualifying as well for the finals.
Okay.
And then moving on to the final.
I still don't agree with those upsets. I think they're just a little bit too far.
Look,
gone.
someone's got to really support
Look,
3 Sins so
I-
far.
Look, of course I'm going to cheer for 3 Sins now that I found out that Banana's going to be coaching them.
Oh,
But it's
yeah.
like...
I can't just do the same pick as everyone else.
Trox
Oh,
was
fuck it,
last
whatever,
pick, so he did
whatever.
this on purpose, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. Pittsburgh against Vitality. Vitality Day 3 coming through as other people have said. And then the lower match, United against Dignitas. Sorry, Dignitas. I don't see you pulling through. I would say it's a very close match. Like, it could go either way, but I give it to United. Then Energy against Vitality. That's actually one of the final, possible final
That
outcomes.
is the best semi, like I talked
Best
about
semi,
earlier.
yeah.
That would be.
But Energy, I feel like Vitality, they still haven't managed to fix their team problems that they have with the similar playstyles and everything. But Energy just feel like they're in the honeymoon phase right now, just wrecking everything. And then Reciprocity against United, I give it to Reciprocity, making the Energy Reciprocity finals for the third time now.
Yeah.
But I'm the first one to say Reciprocity because I believe in the Energy Day 3 curse and Finals curse. And this is for the memes.
Can I just note as well, everyone's there going, oh, Vitality just show up on day 3. Everyone said they lose in
Yeah,
the semi.
Like, you're going up against Energy and Reciprocity maybe. And those teams will just wipe the floor.
They smack, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we've had
Us three.
you three. I think I'm going to go next. I'm going to go next. Let's do it. Let's see how much I fuck this up. Right. So I always do fuck these up, by the way. I'm actually terrible at these games. Right. Group A. Veloce, Loki. I've got Veloce going above them. I don't think anyone's really surprised. I went for the really safe picks as I always do because it's just the way that things should go. I think things should go. E United. I actually had. Did I really pick Renegades above them? What the fuck? Oh, we'll roll with it then. Apparently, I picked Renegades
Were you
above
looking
it.
over my shoulder? Is that it?
I took like your sheet, I think, as a. Oh no, never mind. I fucked. Don't worry. Just continue.
Collusion.
I went with Renegades above E. Oh no, that's right. Okay, I think I had Renegades at least for a little bit of faith, just a little bit of faith in the OC region. That's the reason why I picked them. I think that might be my main sort of big upset result. I don't think it's likely going to happen, but I think if there's one result that would happen in this group, it would be like that. Of course, they're going to get smashed by Vitality anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter. And of course, Veloce are going to get smashed by NRG all the same, so that will lead to an NRG Vitality group final. I think NRG are going to go above that. NRG, I think, are just absolutely unstoppable in the North American scene. Like, they just can't be touched at the moment.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
That is a funky little Discord call notification. Anyway, Jake, continue.
What the fuck? There's just seen random ringtones go off. Anyway, lower bracket, lower key Renegades. Oh my god, I really picked Renegades again, didn't I? Holy shit.
Oh, wow. No, wait a second.
I can't take the call right now.
Fuck you, Crafters! Fuck you! Get off the fucking phone! We're doing Aftershock. Piss off!
Anywho, continue.
I'm not editing that out. Low-key Renegades, why the fuck did I do this? Why did I do this? I'm asking myself the same goddamn questions.
We were gone for an hour and a half, Jay. How much cider did you drink?
The whole bottle.
A whole bottle.
Why did you tell them?
I mean, it's just explaining this
I
predicament.
don't know why I picked this prediction, actually. I think I definitely wanted to say low-key. But because it's down there,
No, you gotta go.
I've got to go
It's in
with it.
stone.
It's in stone. I'm gonna, be in my own rules. I don't know why I picked Renegades above Loki, but that is what I picked. Veloce E United. I think Veloce are gonna win that one. I think that I think as
Can we just
Bacon
note,
said,
Trox is the only one that really believes in EU.
yeah, no, I was gonna say I was. Fuck you. I was gonna say like I don't rate E United going into this tournament just like Bacon did. Bacon said earlier, and I think Veloce are gonna win against the Renegades or the Loki side regardless. It doesn't fucking matter. They're gonna make it in. I have confidence in Veloce for this one, so I think that they're going to have a good run in that group stage. You're looking at me absolutely smug, like I don't agree with you whatsoever. No comment?
He's not allowed to comment on Veloce, apparently. So just move to Group B.
No comments from Group A, no one? No? Except
we've
for
gone over the Renegades.
Yeah, okay, cool beans. Right.
Fanboyism.
Group B, I have Space Station going above Canberra. Going to face off against Respository in those semi-finals. Dignitas, I think, should beat 3 Sins, but I don't think that Dignitas will go much further than this. I think that they are going to be doomed to fall to Pittsburgh Knights. I think the Space Station will also fall to Reciprocity. I think Reciprocity are going to beat Pittsburgh Knights in those upper finals. And in the lower bracket, I do have Dignitas also beating Canberra, but I see them falling to the Space Station team that will beat 3 Sins also in the lower bracket.
That's plausible.
I don't think that one-off performance that we saw Dignitas running through the lower bracket of the EU playoffs is enough for me to justify them making it to the playoffs of the World Championship. I just think that it was a one-off thing. They had a very quiet season going into going into those playoffs. We didn't talk about them much because they just got the expected results. I don't think many people expected them to do what they did in that last in that last playoff. Therefore, I don't think that they'll be able to go far going into the group stage. So.
I've just remembered as well, like the first predictions we did, it was Doomsday that won. I won last time round.
Oh, that's correct.
And the reason I won last time round is because I put really out there predictions. I do that.
True.
I think you guys were going too safe with this. You're not expecting any.
Look,
there's
no
never
prize.
goes to script.
There's no prize for this shit, so I don't give a fuck. Right.
Bragging rights is well enough. Getting to shut you down.
My sense of pride is enough.
But this is what I'm saying.
I have no pride, damn it.
My point here, though, is that I think this is the safest we've seen so far from anyone.
Well,
apart
you
from
know
Renegades,
me.
of course.
You know me, right?
But, yeah.
Anyway, playoffs. Let's do this. And I think this will stick with the theme of being absolutely safe because, again, I've got Reciprocity versus NRG in the grand finals. Pittsburgh Knight.
This isn't safe. This is common sense, I think.
Yeah.
Apart from that first one, holy heck.
What, Pittsburgh versus Veloce?
Yeah.
No, I think Veloce can do it. I think Veloce can do it. I mean, maybe I'm getting caught up in the fairy tale run, but I think Veloce have the potential to beat Pittsburgh Knights. It'll be tough. It will be a game 7. But I think it'll be Veloce.
First land as a team, like properly together at Worlds. That's
I've got some faith, man. I've got some faith.
a lot of faith.
Got no faith in Space Station. No, they're going to get decked. They're going to get decked by Vitality
Yeah.
in that round of 6. But no matter who makes it in to those semi-finals, at the end of the day, there can only be one grand final matchup. That's NRG versus Reciprocity. I've got Reciprocity going over NRG. I think that they've actually had a slight advantage when it comes to their overall sort of performances. I don't think they've got a series victory above NRG in advantage, but I think they've had game victories above them. So I think the numbers sort of balance in Reciprocity's favour. So for me, in terms of statistics, I'm going to go Reciprocity on this one. Plus, not to mention, I'm the biggest EU fanboy there is. So of course I'm going to pick Reciprocity to go in this one. So fuck you.
I'm just going to say here now, if Vitality beats Reciprocity, all our brackets are just screwed.
They're
at the end.
absolutely fucked.
And that could happen.
This
I
is the
could see
reason.
it.
This is the reason why I made the points as per team that makes it into their respective sort of points, and not actually who wins the matchups. Because that way, I can still get points for Vitality being in that part, and I can also get points for NRG making it into the grand
I
final.
also honestly think Reciprocity is the only team that can beat Energy. Like if Vitality makes it to the finals,
Yes.
I think Energy will win.
Last two then.
I was just going to note as well, continue on that, because it wasn't really like newsworthy, but with Vitality getting those little rings to win in the last Worlds, I actually just, if this was based on one, I'd want Vitality to win the next 9 lands, purely so they can cover each finger of the ring.
They got to win first.
Actually, 4 would be good enough, and then they can just put a stone in the middle of the hand. To
Got to make them multicolored. Right.
What did it cost the rest of the EU region?
Jam, go.
Right, let's see mine. I think it will be as safe as yours, Jay. At least pretty close to that. Against Veloci Loki, Veloci goes through. United.
I've already seen upsets, so
Yeah.
it's not safe.
Well, I mean, there's a couple of interesting ones. If we take United versus Renegades, I feel like Renegades is a little bit... I would rate them a little bit higher. Again, the strongest team will coming off the OC into this tournament. But no surprises, Energy and Vitality going through. And then I think Vitality is going to take it. Maybe a little bit controversial, but just thinking that...
That's where you get points.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you're going to win this,
Just taking a couple of risks. Obviously, Energy, incredibly powerful team. Is just that something tells me that maybe this will be the time for Vitality. On home soil, let's see how everything can go.
quick note for everyone: has Vitality beaten the new RG side?
Have they played them?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they have.
That's certainly a
Okay.
pretty bold
I don't know.
prediction.
I'll get back on that in 2 minutes.
Yeah, let Dex work that in the background. As Jam, continue on with your lower bracket.
Despite that, though, I do see Loki perhaps getting one over Renegades, although that might be a close one. Loki, just like the Renegades, the feeling like the strongest team coming out of Sam, despite 3 Sins qualifying in the first spot as the first seed, just I don't have the same belief in their continued performance.
I mean, just after this, I still got to ask Trox how much United paying you to predict for them.
No comment. Veloci and United, just like in Renegades versus United, I feel like Veloci versus United, Veloci will be the top one. They are currently on an up and up, and I do know that this is currently a fairy tale for them, just swiping through everything. And through that, I do also feel that they will be the last team out of Group A to qualify into the playoffs as well.
I agree with pretty much everything there.
I agree with almost everything. I just don't think Vitality are going to be NRG.
I mean,
Sorry.
it's a risky one. It's,
They are,
it's
they,
definitely
are,
a
they,
risky
are,
one.
they are too tough.
I
They
do
are too
know
tough.
exactly how good is energy, but something in that moment just told
What?
me vitality.
What?
No, we'll get to my bracket.
Also, no comment.
Oh, I can't
Oh,
wait for
no.
it. We're finishing
Oh,
on the best
no.
one, apparently, from this.
Group B. Oh, no, unless you... Wait, have you done Group A yet?
No,
That's
this
okay.
was Group A. We're going to
No,
Group
that was Group A. Yeah.
Just making sure you finished off your Group B.
Yeah.
Your Group A.
It's all
fucking-
done.
Just
It's all
fucking talk
done.
about Group B.
Obviously, I was thinking, what if Cloud9 wins this year? Oh no, they're not participating.
Not
what
happening.
if G2 wins this year? Oh damn, they're not participating either. rough stuff. Space Station versus Canberra Havoc. Space Station, because Canberra and 3 Sins I think will be the 2 teams that will end up last this year.
double out, yeah.
Dignitas and 3 Sins. Dignitas again, just mentioned 3 Sins as well. If we take Reciprocity and Space Station, I have full trust in Reciprocity. Same goes for them beating Pittsburgh Knights and just going through the top bracket. Between Pittsburgh Knights and Dignitas, I mean, Pittsburgh Knights are living pretty much the same dream as Velocia are living.
I would agree to that so much.
So-
And that's why I haven't rated them as high as all you guys. Because I think, they're at peak at the moment. And I don't think at LAN they're going to be able to keep up that performance.
I feel like Dignitas, we are giving them a lot of loaned credit is giving to them. Like their performance at the end of the season, actually making it into the Worlds after their horrible performance during the regular season, means that it's great that they finally done something, whatever that might be. It's just that we still sort of mention, okay,
It's the same respect for EU United. It was a one-day thing throughout the whole season.
I suppose that's true, yeah. For Dignitas, though, there's obviously that big name behind them. You think Dignitas, you can think quality. Obviously, there's still a team of 3 solid players. It's just that they still need to continue to impress and get their respect back, I suppose. There's the Dignitas that we know. So I think that Pittsburgh Knights might have a chance to beat Dignitas, but then obviously fall to Reciprocity. In the lower bracket, Dignitas Canberra, Dignitas, Space Station 3 Cents, Space Station again just based off the Canberra and 3 Cents, in my opinion, being the weakest teams coming to this one. And Dignitas versus Space Station could be a toughie, but I feel like Dignitas might take this one. Just because Space Station, a solid team, but as solid as Dignitas.
That would be the coin flip game. Yeah, I can see that. I respect it. But before you go off to your top 6, Dex, you seem to be wanting to chime in, probably because you've just searched up the Vitality.
I have got clarification. So the last 2 times NRG have played Vitality, NRG has swept Vitality twice.
So no fucking chance.
But the earliest of those 2 was at DreamHack Valencia, which was their old roster with Fireburner.
Yep.
That was a 3-0 sweep. And then the other time was at Rocket League Summit with the new roster, and it was a 4-0 sweep. So we shall see.
It's been a fair
no
bit of
fucking
time.
chance.
No, I say it's been a bit of time, and NRG at Summit were nuts. Like,
oh yeah,
that was true honeymoon phase. Like, you've never seen it that incredible before. But anyway, Jam, onto your top 6.
All right, let's see the top 6. Somewhere to the left of it. Going through the top, Pittsburgh Knights versus Veloci. I still love. Again, I'm a EU fanboy, so.
No, I've got the same one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Veloci over the Pittsburgh Knights. NRG, Dignitas, NRG. I hear again 2 big names, and you would see them a couple of years ago in the grand finals. You would think, oh, this is great. Now, again, Dignitas are living on loan time, I suppose. Vitality versus Veloci. Here, I think where the Veloci's fairy tale might end with Vitality.
I was just looking at it bracket and go, you've done something wrong here. You haven't.
Nope.
It is just purely because you put Vitality to beat NRG.
Which won't happen, by the way. I'm just saying.
It is absolutely possible, yeah. But this also throws a little bit of a wrench in the whole of it because every one of you, I think, had Vitality and NRG in the top semifinal. For me, it's the other way around: Reciprocity versus NRG, and Reciprocity just has a lot of history against NRG. NRG have come out of that one being defeated. So as a result, I feel like Reciprocity will know the number of NRG, and in their matchup specifically, I think they're gonna take it.
Just before we go, did the bottom of that. Dex, can you quickly search up when was the last time we had an all EU final?
What, of just any LAN?
Yeah.
It's been
let's
a
just say
while.
of RLCS because it's been a while
RLCS.
there.
Yeah.
I want to say season 5.
No, season 5 was.
No, it was
Red-
not.
was NRG as
London.
well.
Season 4.
Season 4, I think. Yeah, but that was
It's been a while.
That was
Northern
Northern versus
EU
Method,
LAN
yeah.
final again. I can dig it.
I mean, you need to go a little bit wild with those.
Yeah.
If you want to win, and as we found out, win for no prizes, nothing, not even a little cup, a little note mentioning thanks
Look,
for
right.
participating.
2020 will be the year. Okay.
I suppose so. So, as a result, Vitality beating Veloce and Reciprocity beating Energy, just because I feel Reciprocity do have the understanding of how Energy plays, and knowing that they've beat them before, they can use the same tools. But in the finals, I do have my belief that Reciprocity, having had the amazing season that they've had, plus the absolute beating that they gave to Vitality in the European RLCS finals, would make Reciprocity the world champions.
Yeah, like looking at that lot, the regional finals, I don't know if that was Vitality just like stepping off the gas, but it did not feel like that. Reciprocity just turned up to that and was just like, okay, let's bring you back in order now. And they look scary. That's why I think most of us are looking at Reciprocity going, easy pick. Like, NRG is just the only one I think that can take Reciprocity down in the whole world. Unless something bad happens, which, nah.
Don't jinx it.
This is the part where Jam gets his Vitality prediction, right?
It could be. Let's see.
Well, speaking of crazy predictions, you have been laughing your ass off this entire time.
I was going to say, speaking of bad things happening, but that's also
Oh,
true.
okay.
Oh,
Away.
You ready for this
Hello.
clown fiesta of a bracket, boys?
Oh, Jesus Christ, what?
Hell yeah. Right, so we'll go
Clown
Group A.
emotes in chat.
Yeah, so we'll start with this. Veloce, Loki, I think we're far enough along in Rocket League now that Loki should not think that they're the big fish, with the whole big fish in a small pond. I think they will prepare this time, and I think they will just about take down Veloci. I think it's going to be a fairly close series, but I think they can take it. And also on that note, Veloci losing the first game, they're just going to tilt out of it immediately.
End of the dream, do you think?
As soon as they lose, they're gone.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with that. No matter where it happens in the bracket, as soon as they lose, they're gone.
Okay.
Jay is pulling such a face now that the camera
Alright.
again can't see it.
Okay, fine.
But honestly, mentality-wise, I don't put stock in Veloci. Sorry, lads. Maybe if you were here, I'd have said something else. E United Renegades. I think it's a pretty close one. I did go with E United just because I don't think Renegades are quite there yet. Which I know if you look at the lower bracket, this kind of contradicts everything I'm about to say, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So we got Energy Loki. Energy's gonna clap him. I can call my bracket a clown fiesta, but there are some inevitabilities in life. Vitality United, again, Vitality are taking that pretty handily. And then I also did the whole Vitality taking down NRG. Is it more likely than
It's
not?
not going to happen.
No. Will it be absolutely incredible if it happens?
No.
Yeah.
Failius is literally going for the plays here.
I'm going for the crowd winning RCS right now. So back down to the lower bracket, I talked about Veloci tilting out. We don't need to talk about that. Renegades, I feel like the slap in the face from E United will wake them up a little bit, and they'll be able to, again, in a close series, because I don't put that much faith in them. I just thought they sort of deserve to take a game at some point. Low-key will feel accomplished by, taking out Veloci, and then tilted by losing to Big Bad Energy.
Yeah. But United taking down Renegades there, though, a second time. Like, right, so everyone has not predicted a single OCE or SAM team to make it to top 6. But I can say we can all say right now how much we would want that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it is so badly needed. The format of the bracket is so against them. So, and the only way that one of those teams is making it through lower bracket as well, you clearly know that because how stacked the top 2 from each region is.
I think that's the main issue.
I would so want Renegades to beat EU United a second time and be into day 3.
That would be quite poggers. But I think the issue obviously is the fact that EU and NA are just so strong right now. So like it's going to be very, very hard to see OCE in South America do much against them, especially when it comes to these kind of LAN events like the World Championship. So. Yeah.
Well, you say NA is so strong right now, along with EU. I only see one strong team from NA at the moment. I think the rest of it is just
It's all been
weird.
E-Big.
Yeah.
But by comparison is what I'm saying, right? Oh, you know what?
Always by
That might be a
comparison.
spanner in the works, because if obviously all the shuffles and all the shit show that there's been in the North American scene in this last season might actually end up affecting them more, then you never know. Maybe we could be seeing some OC and South American teams.
I mean, there is talks of even more crazy shuffles going on in the
Oh,
off-season.
I know.
So I just feel like everyone's
live for
just
it.
getting it there. Anyway, right.
Yeah,
Group
so
B.
when I was calling this bracket a clown fiesta, I meant Group B.
Sorry.
I love this so much.
So here we go. Let's
Let's
break
go.
this down a little bit.
What? Wait.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Do not sleep on the peeps.
What?
I promise you I was fully sober when I did these predictions.
Bullshit.
I'm like the
Bullshit.
one I'm looking at most here, guys, because Pittsburgh Knights could quotation marks could do it, yes, but
But they're
Canberra
not gonna
have
win.
it taken down. Dig. That's the one I look at and go, what? Really?
No, don't worry. I was looking at that one as well.
Also, of course, they're also beating Reciprocity later on, according to this. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just a double whammy.
This is the leaked script. I'm calling it right
The
now.
leaked script.
Yeah, so Space Station, clapping, Canberra, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, and then they'll drop down to the lower and they'll...
Oh, he's
they'll-
going to have such a weird top
Yeah.
6 now. I've just
Oh,
realised
yeah.
this.
It
Oh,
gets
boy.
better. It gets better.
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, Space Station, you know, they'll win a game. Or a series, I should say. Dignitas will beat Three Sins. I kind of wanted to throw in the upsets there, but I decided...
I'm surprised you didn't, to be
We'll throw
honest.
the upsets a little bit elsewhere. Yeah, so we'll go through the upper bracket. Reciprocity, Space Station, yeah, okay.
Easy.
Yeah, easy clap, etc. Pittsburgh Knights, Dignitas. Don't sleep on the peeps.
No, I can see that. Yeah.
Yep, I think that's more reasonable than the rest
Than
of the
most
bracket.
of your fucking bracket.
Yeah, yeah. Reciprocity Pittsburgh. I can't even say it without laughing, but I kind of think that people are Trox is just realised.
You think it'd be the Montreal run again, do you?
I think so.
Please
I think,
no hints
I
towards
think
No.
it's possible.
No.
I don't think
No.
it's probable.
You haven't done that in the playoffs, have you?
We'll get to that.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, the meme bracket is brilliant.
On paper, this would never happen. In reality, it's never going to happen. But on this spreadsheet right here,
Right here, right now.
The only
It's
thing
a
that matters
happen.
to Failius right here.
they will squeak out a win from Reciprocity, and well, day 3 is going to be its thing. But lower bracket,
It's going to be its thing. Oh, God. That's the
Dignitas.
best thing you could come up with.
Dignitas. I don't know why, but mentality-wise, I'm also thinking they're doing a Veloce, in that they're going to lose. They're not going to care about the other team. Obviously, they've got stuff to play for, because, you know, if you're getting eliminated now, it'd be really embarrassing, and it'd make a really weird-looking bracket. But,
Yeah, that's the.
yeah, so anyway, it happens.
You think full tilt will come into effect as well
Uh-huh.
there?
For some reason, I have less faith in Dignitas versus Canberra than I do Space Station versus Three Sins. So I have Space Station taken out, which I think is pretty sensible.
See, I look at that and go, I think Dig has way more opportunity to, Three Sins has got more likeness behind it to take down Space Station than Canberra against Dig.
I think I'm just putting too much stock in mentality. I think this is the mentality
Okay.
bracket right now.
Fair enough.
Because we've seen it time and time again that Tilt just destroys teams, especially...
I mean,
Atlanta.
TSM Weedham Girls is the biggest example of that.
Yeah.
Can we not talk about
Can we
that?
not, please?
That's almost more ridiculous than this.
Right, so with that, please tell me this is going to be ridiculous. Show us your top
Yeah,
6.
Space Station win.
Hail
Yeah,
Mary,
we've
full
seen
of
that.
grace, the Lord is with thee.
It's
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Fuck off.
There are
Everyone's
so many
so mad at
upsets
me.
right here.
If I win this, you all owe me many
Yeah, I'm
things.
even more mad.
Yeah, so Reciprocity, Clapping, and United, you know, they've had their chance to shine.
Mm-hmm.
They did decent. Goodbye. You know.
I'm just looking ahead to those
It took
semis.
him a
Like,
while.
what?
Don't get ahead of yourself. We're getting there bit by bit. NRG, Clapping, Space Station, because NRG are a pretty good team.
Just learn that now.
Pretty good team.
Oh dear.
Vitality, reciprocity. Just Gregan, I think. Just Gregan's going to push it over the edge.
Dragon will have
Coaches are on
5 bottles of
stage.
water per player.
Hydration.
And they will
This
be
is why I
the
put
most
so much stock in
hydrated.
mentality. It's because the coaches are on
Coaches
stage.
are, yep, I can see it.
Everyone's forgotten about this one key fact. So yeah,
I mean,
that-
how
that's
well
his-
did that work at Valencia, you know?
it worked great, and no bracket can convince me otherwise. Yeah, so Vitality, you make it to the finals, so that would be cool. Energy Space Station, we discussed. Energy is pretty good. You know, in NA, you know, if you think of the really good team in NA, you obviously think the Peeps, Pittsburgh Knights.
Yep.
And
And then against Vitality, you also think Pittsburgh Knights again.
if they can
Which
beat
was
NRG,
your
they
finals
can
as
beat
well, wasn't
Vitality.
it? Yeah.
Do you know what, in fairness, if that is the grand final we find, I would go with Pittsburgh Knights above Vitality.
Yeah.
But that's never going to fucking happen. It's not happening.
NRG doesn't have Fireburner.
I would still pick Vitality over...
And they replaced him with Turbo Pulsar.
Yeah, but
Jam's got something
he's
to say.
EU. He's got reason to throw against Pittsburgh Knights.
Wait, why? Why? That doesn't make sense. Can we throw him out?
wanted the Peeps to win.
No, I appreciate this because Failius has literally got make or break. There is no middle ground here. He is either right or incredibly wrong at every single step. So
That's the Peeps, though. Sorry, that's the Pittsburgh Knights, though. they're either doing great or terribly bad.
no matter what, it's a meme.
Yeah, keep living in the Montreal era, mate, I think.
It's gonna happen. You heard it here first.
Jam?
5 words. Don't sleep on the Peeps.
Oh, fuck off. Just fuck off, will you?
Can I mic drop now?
No, do not drop that mic.
Those are way too expensive to mic drop. We do not have that kind of money.
Please. I think...
I think that's the best bracket to close out on with our
think-
Yeah,
predictions.
I think
I think it's
we
the
got
correct bracket as well.
No, it's definitely not the correct bracket. I'm sorry.
Please
That's
write me a
bullshit.
really long message
Right.
on Reddit telling me about why
If
I'm
that
really
is the
wrong.
correct bracket, at the end of the weekend, we will get a picture, post it up on the Aftershock account with us all bowing to Failius.
And
his
you will get
infinite
me a
knowledge.
picture as well.
I'm going to frame for you.
Because I will
Do
need
you know
it
what?
if that's the
Here's the
actual
thing.
bracket.
Here's the thing. If he scores all 95 points, I'm actually willing to do that,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, right, face it, no one is getting 95 points. I'm just
Although
saying,
if you think
I
you
win.
can, you can join the Discord. But we have our pick and prediction for all the fans. Dexter's going to be running that one. Again, it's almost ready to go live, so make sure you jump in. By the time this podcast goes out, it will be live. So get your ass on the Discord and get your predicting going. Definitely don't pick the Pittsburgh Knights, though. Do not entertain this idiot here.
Please do.
they're definitely not the Pittsburgh Knights.
Let me just check how much they were going to pay me for this. I think I've got a check in the mail.
We do
coming
have a
from-
competition just like internally in the house of worst meme, worst
Yeah,
pun of the
I
weekend.
think we're going to keep this going with the whole with the whole weekend. But yeah, I think that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, it's
Thanks for having us.
it's been hype, of course, to get you guys on because obviously like, a lot of these guys. Sorry.
You're welcome.
Okay. I thought
Only
you-
Trox.
I thought you were chatting
the
shit.
ego on this man.
Yeah, mate, I know, right? But all seriousness, like these guys actually put a lot of work behind the scenes, whether it be in social media or doing the Discord stuff. So it's great to actually have you guys on the show for once. Not you.
Look,
You
promised
posted
work
one
from him.
clip. You worked on one meme. That's your entire contribution. So you don't fucking count.
I did like 2 more tweets.
It was bang.
Yeah, it was a brilliant meme.
you
was
worked
good.
with him with it. He takes half the credit.
When I'm here, I do great work. I'm just not here.
Okay, well,
They are not going to let me leave this room until I put out like 6 tweets tonight.
Very true.
indeed, and I'm going to enforce that right about now because we're done for the night. We're done for the World Championship, and again, that World Championship will be taking place tomorrow from I think it's 3 p.m. CET.
Yep.
It was 2 p.m. GMT for those of you UK viewers who like watching the podcast over in the UK. Twitch.tv/Rocket League, where you can watch all of the action from the World Championships. The best of the best are competing live here from Madrid. Maybe, just maybe, you might see us if they cut to the crowd because we'll be out there in the front row. So I'm excited.
We'll be trying to get in the front row.
We'll be
Like,
trying.
literally, we will be barging
Right,
people away.
fuck enforced seating. Just give us a section and let us sit wherever we damn well please. And on that note, we're going to end. Guys, have you enjoyed yourselves?
Don't sleep on the peeps.
Fuck you.
Definitely seems like he's enjoying himself.
I think he's enjoying himself. But, of course, you guys probably... I don't know if you guys will appear on the podcast anytime soon, so I'll just let you... A quick opportunity from right to left to plug your shit and whatever social medias you have, what you got going on.
Right to left?
Yeah,
Left to
right to right.
Left.
That, from him to him. Go.
You know who I am.
Can we just close on that?
I wish we did now.
Twitter.com/DexterFets. The best way of doing it is if you're in the Aftershock Discord, go on my Discord profile rather than just typing that shit out. I'm not saying it out.
I like it.
Enjoy.
F-E... No, go.
And I'm not going to put my own shit up here because I'm scared about the messages I'm going to receive after this. So, twitter.com/RivalEsportsGG. Send all the hate messages there, and I'm sure our social media guys will have a great time.
Jam.
You can find me at Twitter at JarXJam, and just send any old casting opportunities my way. Please, I really need them.
He has to eat.
Oh, dear. And, of course, you can follow us as the standard places at RLAfterShock on Twitter if you want to get involved in the conversation. Of course, make sure you're also in the Discord for this weekend's action. That pick'em game is something I'm going to push hardcore up until the end of the World Championship. As well as that, you can also go ahead and follow the podcast on Twitch, twitch.tv/RLAfterShock when we go live, hopefully next week. Hopefully being the key word there, because Lord fucking knows what's going on with that at the moment. But, of course, as well, if you want to listen to the podcast, take it on the go. We have the YouTube version for the videos. And on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, TuneIn, and 7 other audio distribution platforms. You can go to anchor.fm/RLAfterShock to find your favourite platform or request your favourite way to listen. And on that note, we're going to end here live from Madrid. Bacon, any final thoughts from you before we head out for another week?
Not a thought. I'm issuing a challenge this weekend, and that is to create some RLCS memes. That is taking pics from the crowds of the players, and we want you to submit your best memes from the weekend. We'll show them next week, Jay. I think that's good.
At RLAfterShock, we're going to retweet the best ones. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you back here next week for even more of the Aftershock.